Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today I'm going to be ranking every Doctor's second season. Well, every Doctor that had a second season. From worst to best. Not something I really see people do a lot video-wise. So we're going to be looking at all of the Doctors that have a second season and ranking them from worst to best. Of course, that means no 9th Doctor, no 8th Doctor, no 14th Doctor, as they don't have second seasons. But we'll be looking at the rest of them, and I'll be talking about the things I like and the things I don't like. I believe we have 11 on this list to go to. And the bottom two are basically a tie. I can't pick between them. And that is Series 6 and Series 9. I can never pick which one's my least favorite. I'm not a big fan of either of them. They have good moments. I mean, Series 9 has, which is, of course, Capaldi's second season. It has Heaven Sent. It has the Under the Lake two-parter. And I actually enjoy some of the stuff going on in Sleep No More. But most of those other two-parters just drag. I don't do much for me. The Dalek two-parter is the worst Dalek story we've ever gotten. The one with Girl from Game of Thrones is kind of boring. The Zygon one has the speech. That's about it. Just not a lot going for it. And it's probably my least favorite portrayal of the 12th Doctor as well. I mean, Capaldi's always great, don't get me wrong, but I like Series 8 Capaldi and Series 10 Capaldi better than Series 9 Capaldi because he kind of strikes me as having a midlife crisis Doctor sometimes. He still gives a good performance. Series 6 also has some bright spots in it with like the Impossible Astronaut two-parter, The Girl Who Waited, The Doctor's Wife. There's some good stuff going on there. And matter of fact, the first half of Series 6 is pretty decent. The second half tends to be a slog. Like the Let's Kill That Guy is garbage. Night Terror is that one that's also garbage. The Almost People one doesn't really do much for me. It drags as a two-parter. I just don't really get into either of those seasons as much overall. So those are the bottom two. Next on the list at number 9 is Season 23, Trial of a Time Lord. This is my least favorite classic season. Now, I still really enjoy 2 of the stories. I like Mysterious Planet a lot. I enjoy Terror of the Vervoids as well, especially the Trialist version. Ultimate Foe is fine. Really, the only one I don't care for is Mysterious Planet, which I will admit I'm not a big fan of, to be honest. It just doesn't do much for me. I don't know what it is. I like how Colin's playing the Doctor in this, and I enjoy the fact the relationship between him and Perry is mellowed. I just wish we'd got more of that. Also, I'm not really big on Mel. Just my least favorite overall of classic Doctor Who. Next on the list is Series 12. I tend to like Series 12 better than most. The Whittaker era is my least favorite era of Doctor Who, but Series 12 is pretty consistently good. I mean, the finale is utter garbage. Let's be honest. The finale, Timeless Children's, worse than anything Classic Who ever put out, while still not being the worst of Modern Who. But it's bad. Ascension of the Cybermen is kind of hurt because of it's connected to that one. And Praxis is just kind of there. But most of the season is good. The Spyfall two-parter is good. The Tesla episode's good. Fugitive of the Jadoon is good. Can You Hear Me is good. And Haunting is good. It's the most consistently good season of Doctor Who we've had since Series 5, I think. And Whittaker still finds moments in there to shine. The cast does get, the companions get fleshed out a little more in places, which is nice. And then some of the stories are just good, and some of the guest cast in several episodes is also really good. Next on the list is Season 25, and we are definitely into good ones now. The interesting thing about making a list is, making this list specifically, was realizing how many good second seasons there are in Doctor Who. Second seasons of a Doctor that are just tend to be really good. Like, again, I tend to like Series 12 a lot, but Season 25 is good. I mean, it has Greatest Show in the Galaxy in it, which isn't the best, no matter what people may tell you. It isn't. The second half of it's pretty good. The first half of it's very, very bad. But Happiness Patrol is really good. Silver Nemesis is underrated. And Remembrance of the Daleks is essential Doctor Who. Although I also argue Happiness Patrol is essential Doctor Who. So 2 really good stories. 1 underrated but flawed story. And 1 story that's nowhere near as good as its reputation, but its second half does carry it up. McCoy is great here. He's kind of at the midway point between season 24 McCoy and season 26 McCoy. Though season 24 McCoy isn't just Time and the Ronnie McCoy like some people think it is. Time and the Ronnie McCoy is only Time and the Ronnie McCoy in Time and the Ronnie. Let me be clear. Even by Paradise Towers, he's toned it back and reeled it in a bit for the most part. But it really is a nice midway point for his Doctor, which some people prefer over season 26 McCoy, actually, where he's a little too calculating. Some people might argue. So you have a good run of stories, and you have Ace as a companion, and Ace is always great as well. It's a really, really solid season. Next on the list is season 20. And again, this comes back to almost all the Doctors have good second season. Not all. Not all. Where is series... No, series 2 wouldn't be on there. Almost all of it, the second seasons for Doctors tend to be really good. I didn't realize that until I was making this list, just how good season 2s tend to be for Doctors. Because I like season 20. Season 20 is my favorite Davison season. It's the most consistent. It might not have some of the highs of like Caves of Androzani, Castrovalva, or Earthshock, but at the same time, it doesn't have any lows like Warrior's Gate or Kenda, or some people would argue Time Flight. Or Black Orchid. You know, it's very consistently in the middle while still having some good stuff in it. I like Arc of Infinity, especially with the updated effects. Watch Arc of Infinity with the updated effects. I like Snake Dance. I like Maldron Undead well enough. It's kind of average, but it's not bad by any means. Good to see the Brigadier back. Terminus is a bit forgettable, but I tend to enjoy it, especially with the updated effects. Updated effects can really help a story. And I do like some of the design work, like the 1984 Dune steel suits some of the characters are wearing. They remind me a lot of those. Enlightenment is phenomenally good. All three versions. Original effects, 2009 effects, 2023 effects. They're all good. And then you have King's Demons, which is massively underrated. My favorite Davison two-parter. I find it a lot of fun. And then The Five Doctors is just phenomenal. It's so much fun. It's a wonderful celebration of Doctor Who. So I really enjoy season 20. And the fact that it's only, number 6 on the list tells you just how much I love the other 5 that we're about to talk about. Because season 20 is easily my favorite Davison season. It's really good. Next on the list, in 5th place, is season 8. And I love the Pertwee era. The Pertwee era is the most consistently good era in Doctor Who. If we're talking about a whole Doctor, if we're talking about a Doctor as a whole, because Tom does have like 3 eras. Because there's no bad stories in the Pertwee era. None that I would just call bad. Even my least favorite, Claws of Axos, is still fine. Perfectly watchable. John Pertwee is the only Doctor that I can say doesn't have a flat-out bad story. Because even Tom has Power of Kroll, which I don't care for, and even Leisure Hive, which is watchable, but I don't really like. Whereas John, even Claws of Axos, I enjoy well enough. It's fine. It might be C or D tier, but it's not bad by any means. Now, my least favorite season, though, of John's is season 8. Now, to be fair, season 8 is the stereotypical Pertwee season. When you think of the Pertwee era, you're probably thinking of season 8. He's stuck on Earth, lots of unit, the Master, invasion story, stuff like that. It's kind of the most Pertwee season to ever Pertwee. It has all of the stuff all the staples you expect from the Pertwee era. But it's still kind of my least favorite season, even though it's a great season. Terror of the Autons is good while not being as good as Spearhead. Mind of Evil is phenomenally good. And the one story that feels more like it would slot in with season 7, it has that kind of darker edge to it. Of course, it's also written by the same guy who wrote Inferno. It's the one Pertwee story I can think of made after season 7 that really feels like it would have fit right at home in season 7. It does feel a little edgier. Then you have Claws of Axos, which again is fine. Colony in Space, which I find very underrated and enjoyable. And then the Daemons, that while I personally think is a little overrated, especially with its ending, is very good Doctor Who with some wonderful location filming. It's a good season. I just tend to prefer the other seasons. I love season 7 for its very adult nature. I love season 9, even the Mutants, even though I've only watched the Mutants once. We'll have to see how it works on the rewatch. But I love Day of the Daleks. I enjoy Curse of Peladon. I like the Sea Devils. And I like the Time Monster. Now, season 8 and 9 aren't that far apart. It's hard for me to pick my least favorite Pertwee season. They're close. Season 10 is just phenomenal. And I find season 11 underrated, especially because I love the dynamic between 3 and Sarah a lot. They actually have a very good dynamic that I feel is often forgotten about because people think of 3 with Joe and Sarah with 4. So the fact it's my least favorite Pertwee season is like saying, what's my least favorite kind of cheesecake? Because I love cheesecake. It's my favorite dessert. So it's still phenomenally good. And it, again, a testament to just how good season 2s are that it's only number 5 on the list. Number 4 on the list is season 5. Now, season 5 is my least favorite Troughton, but it's still a Troughton. And I love Troughton. He's my solid number 2. My solid second favorite Doctor. Season 5 is a bit formulaic. I never get that with people who say it's his best season, because it is a bit formulaic. A lot of Base Under Siege stuff going on in here. And most of the stories in this, I feel, are overrated. Good, great even, but I feel like they get more credit than they deserve. Tomb of the Cybermen, good, but overrated. Abominable Snowmen, I actually really like. I love the animation for Abominable Snowmen. Color and black and white. Very good story. Then you have The Web of Fear, which is good, but overrated. I really like it. It's great even, but a little overrated. Ice Warriors doesn't really do much for me. One of my least favorite Pertwee stories. It's fine, but it's not really blowing me away. Fury from the Deep is a great story with really bad animation that doesn't do it justice. Wheel in Space is good enough. I've only watched it once recently, but I enjoyed it. I think it would be held in a slightly higher regard if more of it existed, but it's fine. And I feel like I have forgotten it. Enemy of the World, very overrated. Great story, wonderful performances from Troughton, all 4 of them really. But, again, overrated with what's going on. I would have loved it more as a 4-parter, I think. So I like season 5 because I always love seeing Troughton. But I just feel the season's a little overrated. Number 3 on the list is season 2. Now, I tend to prefer Troughton's Doctor over Hartnell's Doctor. But since this is a list about each Doctor's second seasons, and season 5 is my least favorite Troughton season, whereas season 2 is my favorite Hartnell season. I love season 2. There's so much going good in it. Only 2 of the 9 stories are really bad stories, in my opinion, with one of those being The Chase, which still has great bookending episodes. Great bookending episodes. And The Web Planet, which, again, has nice ambition, and also has some things that go very well, but at 6 parts, it's really hard to get through. But the other stories in the season are really enjoyable. I love Planet of Giants. I love Dalek Invasion of Earth. I love The Rescue. I love The Romans. I love all 4 of those stories. I love The Time Meddler, probably my favorite Hartnell story. And then, I feel like I'm forgetting a couple of them in there. The Space Museum, underrated, very underrated. I even think the episode 1's phenomenal, but the other episodes are fine. And I feel like there's one more in there I've forgotten, but I enjoy it well enough. The Crusade is fine. I wish more of it existed, but it's fine. I like it. Julian Glover and Gene Marsh are great. It's a nice variety of stories, too. I love just how different a variety of stories we get in this season, even with a comedy in the Romans. It's just nice that there's nothing formula. Unlike season 5, which is just Base Under Siege, Base Under Siege, Base Under Siege, you get such a different flavor of stories this season. I love season 2, with it being one of my favorite seasons of 60s Doctor Who. My second favorite season of 60s Doctor Who after season 4. Number 2 on the list is Series 3. This is also my favorite series of modern Doctor Who in general. David Tennant's second season. I love Series 3. It has no bad stories in it. And some of my favorite modern Who episodes are from this season, like Blink and Gridlock. Gridlock actually topping my list recently I did, where I ranked all of modern Doctor Who from worst to best. Gridlock was number 1. I love that story. Shakespearean Code is also underrated. Utopia is phenomenal. Smith and Jones is good. 42 is good. Human Nature 2-parter is fantastic. Even the Daleks 2-parter is fine. It's nothing to write home about, but it's fine. It's not bad by any means. And while the finale, the 2-part finale, isn't the best in the world, it's still fine. It's not bad by any means. And Tennant is great in it, and Martha is also great in it. Really, really good. And then, of course, number 1 was what we all knew was going to be number 1. I knew as soon as I came up with the idea for this list, I knew what was going to be number 1. because it's no contest. It's no contest. I mean, this is probably objectively the best season Doctor Who has ever put out. And that, of course, is season 13, Tom Baker's second season. I think we all knew getting into this video that has to be number one. It just objectively has to be. You have 6 stories which are just amazingly good, phenomenally good. All of them probably essential watching. I won't say all of them are masterpieces, although there are so many masterpieces. But all of them probably essential because the feel of this season is just so good. That gothic horror that it goes for. Tom Baker's in fine form. Elizabeth is in fine form. It just goes to show why they are arguably the best TARDIS team the show has ever had. You have Terror of the Zygons, which I don't know if I call it a masterpiece. If it's not, it's knocking on the door, but it's definitely a classic and essential Doctor Who. You have Planet of Evil, which I call a masterpiece. Everybody might not. But it is phenomenally good with a jungle set that looks phenomenal. I mean, you always got to give points to Planet of Evil for that jungle set alone. I enjoyed the spaceship set as well. I like most of the guest cast, although the captain of the ship has that hair that I can never take seriously. The special effects are nice. The dialogue is good. I love Planet of Evil. You have the android invasion, which might be the weakest of the season, but again, that's like, what's the weakest kind of cheesecake you've ever had? I love cheesecake. The android invasion is still very, very, very good. Phenomenal. It would have been a standout if it had been in another season. It's just the fact it's in season 13 kind of holding it back. But it's some good performances, great location work, and a really good story. You have Pyramids of Mars, which is just one of the best Doctor Who episodes ever made. It's top 10 Doctor Who. Like modern classic top 10 Doctor Who. Patty Russell, when she gets in that director's chair, you are in for a good time. She is one of the best directors the show has ever had. She is phenomenal. You pair her with a Bob Holmes script, or basically a Bob Holmes rewrite, page 1 rewrite, ho, 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 ho. And you have Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen. That is a recipe for masterpiece. This is a masterpiece. I love Pyramids of Mars. Sutekh is one of the best villains Doctor Who has ever had, which is crazy considering he doesn't get to do a lot, but the threat of him looms so large, and Gabriel Wolf does such a good job playing him that it just sticks with you. And the fact that he only loses because of his own arrogance, and it does such a good job of explaining just how deadly Sutekh can be, and how the Doctor only beats him by outsmarting him. I love this story so much. The Brain of Morbius, Doctor Who does Frankenstein. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Love The Brain of Morbius. And The Seeds of Doom, one of the best season finales the show has ever had. It would easily be Tom's best season finale if Talons didn't exist, and it's still very close between them. Seeds of Doom is basically Doctor Who does The Thing before The Thing. Well, before the 1982 The Thing. It's really good. And I feel like I might have forgotten one in there somewhere. I forget. But it's such a good season. Such a good season. Easily the best second season a Doctor's ever had, and the best season Doctor Who's ever put out. And one of my 2 favorite seasons. My 2 favorite seasons being 12 and 13. I love them both. So I want to know what you think of this list and how you would rank them. So comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There is a link to that down below as well. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Finn Perkins and Colin Coney. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It is appreciated. I also have other fun things down there, links to the Amazon wish list, links to the Amazon UK wish list, which I've added some stuff to recently. I added some of the standard edition sets. This was actually sent to me by Simon. One of my patrons sent that one to me. I love it. I want to get more standard editions. DVD-wise, there are 2 Doctor Who DVDs I would really like to get and rewatch that I don't own, and that is The War Machines and The Reign of Terror. I can get the US or the UK versions as I have a region-free player, but I would love an opportunity to rewatch and review those. And don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching.